We're headed to the weekend, but before we go there, let's check in with each other and get those top stories from Israel right here on the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, and brought to you as always by Lay of the Land. We begin with the news that former attorney generals and state attorneys dating as far back as 1975, virtually all who have served, have released an unprecedented letter where they warn against proposed overhauls of the Supreme Court. In the letter, they warn that the plan does not herald improvements, but rather could destroy Israel's judiciary. They also go on to say that the achievements which have improved society and worked for the benefit of all are in peril. Now, this comes as a new Minister of Justice Yariv Levin unveiled his plans to overhaul the judiciary last night. Amongst those plans, the coalition will have the right to appoint judges. He will introduce mechanisms that will drastically reduce the Supreme Court's ability to overrule laws. They will be barred from any intervention on the basic law, and the very, very controversial override clause will be introduced. Now, this, of course, has resulted in a lot of pushback from Israelis, and on Saturday night after Shabbat ends, tens of thousands of Israelis are expected to protest all over the country. In other news as well, Prime Minister Netanyahu and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich unveiled what they call their emergency plan to lower the cost of living. I think all countries around the world are facing a cost of living crisis, and Israel is no different. So in the plan, there will be a freeze on property tax for at least a year. They will work to reduce the increase of the cost of the price of water and electricity by about 70%, and they will work to bring down the cost of fuel. This is to try and beat rising inflation. While we're still on the subject of Bezalel Smotrich, a short while ago, the finance minister met with the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, to discuss the sharing of responsibilities as he takes on his other portfolio, which is kind of seen as like a junior defense ministry role. But according to the coalition agreement, this will give Smotrich the ability to choose generals in the Kogat unit. Now, the Kogat unit is the unit in the IDF that is responsible for the coordination of Gaza and the territories, as well as decide on generals in the civil administration. And these appointments are pending Prime Minister Netanyahu's approval. And finally, because we really try and do end off our news broadcast with some positive news, I know some of us are thinking the news has been so overwhelmingly negative, but we say Mabruk to Mukhtar Mamadov. He will be appointed Azerbaijan's ambassador, the first ever ambassador from Baku to the state of Israel. And this follows plans that Azerbaijan, a growing ally for Israel, situated close to the southern border with Iran, is increasing ties with Israel and will soon open an embassy. We look forward to welcoming His Excellency Ambassador Mamadov. And that brings us to the end of today's top stories. Don't forget to check back in with me on Monday for your top stories. I will be on location next week. I will be at World WITO's meeting of representatives, so you might get your Israel brief at different times, at different locations, but I will try my absolute best to ensure that you get your news update. But in the meantime, please don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook community, as always, is at Lottle Site. Give us a like, give us a follow, share. We are on YouTube at the Israel Brief. Please click on that red subscribe button. Let's get those subscriptions going. And of course, like and share the content. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you all a peaceful, a restful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. And I will see you again on Monday.